All right. Almost game time.
Almost, man. Almost game time. Zach, man, we had a exciting first hour there.
Yes, we
And
did.
that's
Y'all basketball guys get so excitable.
man. Let me tell you, Mr. Brown and Mr. Hightower, man, they really brought it today. So yeah, it was exciting. I can't wait for them to get back. They both had some errands to run there, but we're gonna go ahead and jump in part two before the games get started here.
Sounds good.
All right, Sports Brothers.
All right. Let the countdown begin.
It's almost game time, but before game time, ladies and gentlemen, you know what we need you to do. All right, much appreciated when you hit that like, the subscribe, and that notification button. Zach, Steph Curry, he's having an excellent finals so far. Has he locked up the finals in your opinion, win or lose?
No. And that's the simple answer. No. Or you need me to elaborate? Okay, I guess we get paid to elaborate. If
Yeah,
LeBron James did win the Finals MVP in 2015 for his performance when he was severely undermanned against the Golden State Warriors team, I think that had won 67 games or whatever, and was healthy, then no. Curry's performance has been great. It ain't been otherworldly. He's averaged 34 points, which is excellent. I mean, especially at that level. But no, he ain't averaging 40 plus points. And I look, and it's really hard to say is because he's shooting 50 plus percent from from the field and from three.
yeah, which is
And
crazy.
I would say too, he's not getting much help offensively really from his teammate. But no, this isn't for as great as a performance this is for me to say, because if they lose in a game six, that means now they lost two straight. That's gonna be a no for me, as I said, because if LeBron didn't get it, then not him. If they lose in game seven, that means you lost another game seven finals on your home court. So I'm gonna have to say no. It'd have to be a win for me.
Yeah, I also say no as well. I mean, in the 75, this is the NBA 75th year, right?
Yes.
And so out of all those 75 years, only one player, and that was Jerry West, that won to win the Finals MVP in the losing effort. And I think that one out of 75, I think the odds is the trend is already set that you need to win the thing. And I think that even though he's playing excellent, don't get me wrong, it's excellent, but it's not so extreme to where it's like you could pick a player off the Boston Celtics if they win. So if Jalen Brown, as somebody you mentioned earlier, and before when we previewed Game One, like if Jalen Brown steps up for the next two games, I could see him winning MVP. If Tatum comes back and have maybe two monster games here, he could win the MVP for the Celtics. So I think that if the Warriors win, then yeah, he's going to get it. So, but it's not. But since the question is win or lose, I'm gonna have to go with a no right now. So we'll see how it plays out. And I have a couple splits that I'll show. And if you look at this, um, he's basically it's kind of the same right here. If you look at it, the Warriors team. If you look at it here, Curry had in 2015, he had like a basically a significant scoring lead, and so he's done this before. And then it's similar support on the back end. You just shift the players around a little bit. So I think that if the Warriors win, I think he'll get it this time. We know in one of these years, I think Iguodala won it, but that was more so because of his excellent
Yes.
defensive play.
In 15.
Yeah, more of his excellent defensive play there. And so I think, and that's because he was guarding LeBron. And I think
Yes.
that kind of, you know what I mean? So that kind of,
Exactly.
yeah. So I mean, that boosted it up there for him. But I mean, he's really, for all that Curry's doing, is excellent, but it's not like it's, out of this world. So I think he has to win this thing, and I have no problem with that.
I'll
Yep.
put a couple caveats on it. The bad part is you're playing at you have home court, so it probably is a bad look if you lose at home, and then you're playing the Boston Celtics, and I believe the MVP trophy is named after Bill Russell. I don't think the reporters have the guts to do that. I'm not opposed to giving it to the losing player because I think it's two separate things. You can be the best player and not be on the winning team, depending on how it goes. And Golden State is playing pretty pathetic right now. If he gave me 245 plus games and say a 50-point game,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, like 245-point games and a 50-point game in the game 7, they lose like on some close, they lose, say, last possession of the game.
Yeah.
And we go, not him missing a last second shot, but say somebody from Boston making the last second shot. And if his offensive support doesn't really change, that might change my mind. But if Curry's gonna pop them for 45 plus 3 straight games, then the Warriors are probably gonna win.
Yeah.
So I think that won't happen. So yeah, it this would be a tough year to do it.
Yeah. It would, in my opinion, and yours as well. I see there.
Yeah.
All right, Zach. So with that said, man, the game is tonight. The series is tied 2-2. The Warriors on Friday night, and I don't know why they didn't play it all over the weekend, Saturday or Sunday. I don't know why they didn't play Sunday night, but anyway, it was 107-97, and the Warriors won that game. As we stated, Curry had a monster game. Series is tied at 2, and so let's go ahead and dip into this. Question number 1 there, Zach, and basically fill this blank in. Blank has been the most disappointing in the NBA Finals, and I'll kick it off because you wrote the question, and for me, I'm gonna go with a Boston Celtic, and so far most disappointing in my opinion, and maybe not everybody else's, but mine is Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum, this is the opportunity. I mean, he's the one that was placed at All NBA in first team, if I'm correct there. So that's pretty much elite company right there to be on the first team All NBA. And what I'm seeing so far is not that is terrible, but I'm disappointed in the fact that he's really turned the ball over a lot, Zach. It's a lot of turnovers. And even Friday night, there was some turnovers in there where he was dribbling with his head down, and it was just some baffling turnovers that just was like, no, not at this level, not at this time of the season to make those type of mistakes. And so, according to StatMuse here, through 22 playoff games, Tatum has committed 91 turnovers, and he's almost about to set a record for a single playoff run, 94 by LeBron. So he's averaging like 4.1 per game. So he needs to cut way back on these turnovers and add and score some more points. You know what I'm saying? So the Boston needs Tatum to play a cleaner game, and he needs to play a clean game in game 5, 6, and possibly 7. So the answer to this question for me is Jason Tatum. What say you, Zach?
Well, I think unfortunately I gave mine away throughout the show, but it's been Clay Thompson for me, and as I said, like I don't know, like he should be thanking Draymond Green. Draymond Green, and you know what? Now that I'm just saying this, maybe this is at least some of this with the podcasting thing is strategic by Green, not necessarily take heat off of him like people suggested as far as what he's not doing on the court, but to take heat off his teammates that ain't getting the job done. Because Clay is giving you 17 points and he's shooting 36% from the field, 33% from 3, and playing porous defense. and no one says anything about it. Like, I'm the only one that says something about Klay Thompson out of all this stuff we talked about today. No one else brought him. Why? Because he just gets to show up, play basketball, collect his paycheck, go home. Then when the Warriors do win, kind of like they did on Friday night, he can get up there, and I should have asked the producers to get the video. He can kind of say his snide little remarks that he does, like, you know, he's amazing when talking about Curry. He didn't make first team All NBA, but whatever. Like, okay, first, Curry had by his standards, a really good season. But if you want to go NBA standards, he had a really good season. He didn't have a great season. The guys that made first team All NBA had better seasons than him. And who were the guards again? I forget. Wasn't it? Doncic was one. Doncic had a really great season on a less offensively loaded team. Oh, and Booker. And Booker was on the team with the best record in the NBA. So that's just how that works. But that's what Klay does. And nobody even says anything about his snide remarks. Then while he's out, he talks about he should have been on the top 75 team, just like Kyrie said. Like, everybody should be top 75. Yet all these dudes, somebody should be top 75 and had plenty of years to go out and get accolades. I think Klay has like one, maybe two All NBA teams, if I'm right, three at the most. But I think he's got one or two. And he's got one All NBA defensive team. And that's not even a first team All NBA defensive team. But his legend gets built up to be this guy because he will pop off in games, i.e. like the game 6 against OKC, great game. But all this stuff he's doing, and you said a good thing, and I know I'm going behind the scene, but you said he's Alvin Harper. I'm not going to say he's Alvin Harper. Maybe he's a step above Alvin Harper. So I don't know who was a number 2 and was a little better than what Alvin Harper was. But, not so great that if you put them as a 1, then all of a sudden they're carrying you to finals. But maybe he's Mitch Richmond-ish, because Mitch Richmond was a really good guy with Golden State.
But even saying Sacramento.
Well, yeah, but I was gonna say, but then when he got to Sacramento wasn't making the playoffs like that or whatever. When he kind of had to carry the load, and I feel kind of shame saying he's Mitch Richmond, because Mitch Richmond is a Hall of Famer. It was actually really devastating. But the point being, let's see what Klay does tonight. And as I said, if he goes out there and has a really good game, everybody's gonna be praising him tomorrow. He gets some more of these clunkers, we'll just forget he exists. So that's my guy.
All right. And man, Klay's in a great seat then.
Yes.
He's in the great seat.
And makes $40+ million a year, by the way. So he gets all the perks, as you like to say, of being a 1, but he's not. And I will just add, Klay Thompson is a Robin. When people talk about a Robin, he's a Robin. And you try to talk about a Pippen is not a Robin. Pippen is a Batman. Klay is a Robin.
All right. I hope Klay is listening.
He got his $40 million. He ain't got to pay no attention. And he got his rings. He's good.
All right. Well, who's going to benefit the most in winning the finals, Zach?
Oh, for me, once again, this is, people probably might think Curry. Maybe you might go Draymond or even Kerr, but I'm going to go with somebody that we brought those damn basketball guys on, and they started stealing my thunder early in the show. Andrew Wiggins, and look, see, here I go again. I'm gonna get away from that Robin thing, because Robin is quote unquote a sidekick. The Justice League or all these leagues had more than just like Batman. And you had other superheroes, and he's been Aquaman. Like Aquaman is a lead guy, but he ain't like the guy in the Justice League. He's one of those dudes that has a role in the Justice League, and he's giving you so far 17 points, 9 rebounds, shot 42% from the field, and he shot 36% from 3. Those are all good numbers for a guy that is a supporting guy on the team. Not sidekick, but supporting guy. And his game, and Mr. Brown was a smidge off with the points, but he scored 17 and had 16 rebounds. Yeah. Best game he's played in his entire basketball career at any level. They needed that. And if people don't understand why, and they probably won't think it's a big deal, you go down 3-1 in the NBA Finals, minus the one that the Golden State Warriors gave up in 2016, you don't win. Like 3-1 deficit is a L in the NBA Finals. Now 3-2 deficit, you can come back and rattle off 2 wins. 3-1, it just hadn't happened. And his performance has been great. He was looked at kind of sort of, and I think they got into this earlier, as a bust. If you go back to Minnesota, that he gave you empty numbers. I want to say, wasn't he part of the? Was he there when Jimmy Butler was there and Jimmy Butler got on everybody, or had he been out of town? I think he was there then, possibly. Maybe he. I think Wiggins was quote unquote still there at that time, and you know, this is going to be good for his brand. He makes 30 plus million. And I know you get on me because I get into all these numbers about the salary cap or whatever. I don't know what type of contract he was going to get after this or whatever. But if he gets this title, it's a chance he can go out, still get him a 20 plus $million contract when this is up. And some team probably brings him in as a 2. So this has been very good for his brand. He won't get much pub because he's kind of I guess, quote unquote, a quiet guy. But this whole playoff run has really been good for his brand. And I think he has legitimized himself being a all NBA guy. And so good for him that he's been able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, Zach, for me, going over the question, who benefits the most winning the NBA Finals? My answer is going to be this gentleman here. But before I give the answer, right? You remember you watched wrestling when you was younger, right? You don't watch it now like I do. But when you was younger, you remember the Hart Foundation?
Yes.
Yeah, so you remember that team with Bret the Hitman Hart, Jim the Anvil,
Oh my
Neidhart,
God.
right?
I just want to say those costumes look silly now, but they were way cool back in the day. People won't
Yeah,
understand, but they
yeah.
were
In those
great.
days, it was about those colors back in the day. But the gentleman not with the buzz cut, the one with the shade. Well, they both got shades on, but the one with the curly hair, that's Bret the Hitman Hart. He eventually became a world champion in the WWE, and actually when he went to WCW, he became world champion too. But Bret Hart, right? It was a tag team, and I look at Jaylen Brown and Tatum as a tag team. And right now, Jaylen Brown, he gets some. I mean, not Jaylen Brown, but Tatum gets most of the pub. He's all NBA first team. But right there, if you look at the numbers, even look at the finals numbers, they're kind of similar right now. So I think that Jaylen Brown can benefit and you know and benefit from Boston winning, because if they do win and if he steps up in the next couple of games, it's a strong possibility that he can become a Finals MVP. He can get that award, kind of like how Tony Parker got it one year for the Spurs, and so on and so forth. And even like Cedric Maxwell, you remember he won one, as the gentleman said on our first hour show. And so for that reason, I think he could benefit most here with the finals win. And I laugh because you bring up salary a lot of times, and I mess with you about that. But I'm bringing it up now. So he becomes unrestricted free agent in 2023, and so that's a Finals MVP. You add that to that, and and a championship, and Jaylen Brown can cash in this situation. So I'm going with
Amen.
Jaylen Brown, and that's who I'm going with on that is Jaylen Brown.
That I think that's a good pick by you.
All right. Speaking of picks, Zach, which team needs to win Game 5?
Uh, y- y- we keep going here, and I feel like this whole series, what I've been saying is that Golden State needs to win. This just keeps coming that Golden State needs to win. Uh, can I guess I'm not going to say can Golden State win two in a row. The better question is can Boston lose two in a row? Because I don't think Boston has lost two in a row the entire postseason. Excuse me. With that said, I'll go with Boston tonight. Boston
That's
hasn't
who needs
lost
to
two.
win.
Yes,
Hmm.
Boston hasn't lost two. Boston has not lost two games in a row all postseason. If they were to lose two games in a row now, then you got to go out and win two games in a row. Uh, the way that they've been, when you look at them the past two, like outside of the net series, they have been. I don't want to say shaky, but at least from a standpoint, they've been inconsistent in what they give you. So for
Yes.
me to expect them, or I shouldn't even say for me, for them to expect to put two great games together that you probably need when you're at an elimination scenario, that we're going to go back to Boston, win game six, then we're going to go back to Golden State and win game seven. And I'll just kind of add that thing in again. I Does Steph Curry and these Golden State guys want to be and I don't know if there's other teams in history, but now you've at least on your resume got two championships that you lost, a game seven at home. I'll say Boston really needs this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think Boston needs this as well. I think it's around 82%, where the team that wins game five in the best of seven series goes on to win that series. And so with those numbers, it's not a guarantee, but 82% is a big number. And so they need to get it. And I think that if they can pull this one out, that gives them at least two games, kind of like with the Miami Heat situation.
Yes.
Boston, they had a chance to close it out game six at home. Jimmy Butler happened, and but they still had a fallback game, even though it was on the road. And I just think that they need to get this game because, as you see with Steph Curry, how he hit 7 threes in the game. I know we talk about Clay, but he can pop up and have a game where he hits 7 threes, and that would be the time that you don't want that. So, and you can't account for it. So they need to get a victory now, which gives them two more games as far as a opportunity to close it out. So I have Boston needing to win that, and I do think Boston needs and just a little bit of strategy. I think Boston should blitz Curry a little bit. I think they need to. I think they do. They need to blitz him and force him to pass the ball and get it out of his hands. But if they do, they still need to force Curry to not be able to hit Draymond Green. Because if Draymond Green is open in the middle of the floor off of those blitzes, then Draymond can make good decisions with the ball. So I'm curious to see how Boston plays this defensively tonight. But to answer the question, Boston game five, they need it the most. That doesn't mean that's who we're picking, but that's who
Yes.
needs it the most.
Going to your blitz thing, the only thing I can think of why they haven't changed up like that is maybe they don't think, which has kind of been like this, that the other Warriors can score enough. So let Curry have what he's going to have. And unless Curry's, I guess, going to hit you with a 50, 60-point game, then you probably survive.
Yeah. And if you look at the scores, I mean,
Yeah.
Golden State scoring about what 107. That's the score where Boston, could have won the game. It's not like Warriors scored 130, 120. So 107, that's actually pretty good, especially when you think of Curry hitting 7 threes in a game. Like he don't hit 7 threes every game, and not too many people do.
Well,
So
he
you
started
know
he
what I mean?
started doing more and more this series, it seems.
Well, yeah, but if that's what you gotta have to win, I mean, I think you're in a good place. So, yeah, we'll see what they do though, because once he really gets hot, I don't think you should allow him to kind of stay hot. So we'll see what they do.
Well, you and I talked about it last time. 110 is kind of thing for the Warriors. Can you get to 110 points? And as I said, even if Curry, and I think we said that Curry had been giving you 30. Now he's like up to 35. So if Curry's going to give you 35, where do you get the rest of your points at to get to 110 if you the Warriors? And I think that's their issue. Where I don't think Boston has that much of a problem, but then every time I kind of say something nice about Boston, then they go back or whatever and have one of them games.
Right, right. All right. Well, let's get on down to it now, Zach. Predictions for Game 5. Who's winning, Boston or Golden State?
Well, this is I picked the Warriors in 6. So unfortunately, this is very self-serve. I if I'm being real, this is almost like a coin flip to me because you got to tell me what's going on because I don't know what I'm gonna get from Golden State from game to game. Like, is Clay gonna come out there and now score 30? Are they gonna be engaged and take it seriously? It's Boston. It kind of like you were getting on Tatum. Is Tatum gonna wake up and then all of a sudden give you, say, a 40-point game and he shoots 50+% tonight? Or anything, is Al Horford gonna have an out-of-body experience? Since I don't really have an answer and I can't give you like I don't, because anything, like, this is just one of the things where any damn thing can happen. I'm gonna go with the Warriors to win at home Game 5 since I took them in 6. I'm gonna hope that Steve Kerr learns something, but I will say this: Steve Kerr is killing me with how he is. Kuminga, I don't know why Kuminga can't get on the floor. He's an athletic young man. You would think that he should give you some. And is it Balika?
Belisha, Belisha, I think is how you say his last
Is that it? Like,
he ain't played much during the year. I mean, he played opening night.
You telling me Curry can't get them 9 minutes from that Belisha or Balika is getting or whatever, and he didn't do much. Like, I think he gave you 1 point or something last game. Kuminga can't get those minutes, and maybe you can see if the long, young, athletic guy can't give you a something. That's my only thing. Curry has been too veteran centric. He sat Draymond last game finally, in key moments. So, as I said, I'll go with the Warriors.
All right. Well, I have this series going 7. So
yes,
Warriors win tonight. And on a spoiler, you can take a wild guess who's going to win Game 6.
Well, if it's going 7, then I guess no matter how it goes for you, if the Celtics win tonight, that means the Warriors win Game 6 or vice versa. So got it.
Yep. All right. So that's our prediction, man. Excellent job there, Zach. It's almost time for the opening tip. So we're going to get out of here. But, we thank everybody for watching and listening to the show. Hit that like, subscribe, and notification button. Enjoy the game tonight.
Yes.
All right.
And catch us on our Twitter and tell us what you think of the game.
Most definitely. All right. Well, for Zach, I am Mr. 411. We are the Sportz Brothers. Enjoy the game tonight, and we'll see you soon.
Have a good one.